Hello. Today I want to introduce you to RapidGO. RapidGO is an application developed by RapidPOS that runs on a handheld device such as the one that you see pictured here. Let's have a look at the functions that we have available on RapidGO. Here's a look at the home screen of RapidGO. It lists all the functions that are available. As you can see, we have item lookup, adjustments, transfer out, tags, line busting, cycle count, and receiving. We believe these features address almost all of our clients' mobile needs. That said, we know that every one of our clients is unique, and we built RapidGO so that our programmers can modify it to accommodate your unique needs. Let us know if you have a need that isn't currently addressed in this feature set. Let's take a look at item lookup first. In the item number field, we're going to enter the item number that we wish to look up. Once we've done so, RapidGO will display a lot of information about this item. So we can see the item's description, its price, who the primary vendor is, and then below that, we have the area for inventory. So we can see we have 35 units on hand currently, that there are 30 units that are on PO, and that we've set for this item a min of 10 and a max of 30 for auto replenishment purposes. If you have bin information, that's available for view as well. If you scroll down, you're able to see the quantity available at all your other locations. On the History tab, we provide information about what has been sold today in units. So the quantity that has been sold. So 71 have been sold year to date, 28 in the last year, and 99 in the last 12 months. And we even break that down month by month so that you can scroll through and see what your monthly activity has been like. And then you can see at the bottom of the screen, there's even more information. What was the last date this item was sold? What was the last date it was received? When was it last put on a PO? And when are we expecting that PO to land? On the Pricing tab, we're able to see all the different prices if you happen to use price 2 and 3. And then lastly, on the Vendor tab, you're able to see information specific to this particular vendor. Now you can see that this particular item has 2 different vendors that supply it, 4980 as well as 10,000. And when I click on this, I can see the information that's specific to that vendor. So the purpose of item lookup is to give you a tremendous amount of information at your fingertips while you're on the sales floor. Now, not only can you view all of this information that you've just seen, but if you click on this sprocket, there are certain item changes that we allow you to make. One is that you can change the price. So let's change this. Let's change the price to $2.05 to $1.99. That then changes the price for all of the stores immediately. In addition to changing price, we support change the min-max quantity, and you can do an inventory adjustment. I'll show that later. And then lastly, this area here at the very top is configurable. We set what we think you most likely would want to know, but every retailer is different. And so if you go into the sprocket and then click Change Display Info, you'll see that there are a tremendous number of fields that you can choose from that you want to have displayed rather than the ones that we put in there by default. When I first entered this item screen, you probably noticed that I typed in an item number, but that's not what you would most commonly do, and so I wanted to take a moment just to demonstrate what happens when you scan. So listen closely to the beeps that you hear when you scan a barcode. So I'm scanning a barcode now. Did you notice that there were 2 beeps? The first beep indicated that I scanned a barcode successfully. The second beep indicates that that barcode was a valid barcode, that it exists in your database. Let me do that one more time so that you can listen to it and hear the 2 beeps. Now, if you had scanned in a barcode that doesn't exist in your database, you would have heard something like this. We call it a raspberry sound. Let me make up a barcode that I hope is not in there. And that's your raspberry sound. And so if you're scanning a lot of items in sequence, that's a good way. It gives you an audible way to know for sure if you've had a positive scan. Now let's look at item adjustments. Again, as we talked about, you have the same item window up at the top. Let's scan in an item. The first thing that prompts us after scanning in the item is it asks us, do we want to decrease the quantity? Do we want the inventory adjustment to increase the quantity? Or do we want to reset the on hand to whatever it is, whatever number it is that we enter? So let's say in this case we wanted to decrease the quantity. We want to decrease it by 2. And in the reference field we can enter ran over with forklift. And we can select a reason code, warehouse breakage. Down in the information below, you can see that the current quantity available is 31. When we enter the new quantity available is going to be 29 after we enter this decrease of 2. So let's say that we're done. And now we see that an inventory adjustment was successfully created. We could choose to enter another inventory adjustments or hit the back button and choose to do another function. Now let's take a look at what that inventory adjustment looks like in Counterpoint. Now it's important to remember that everything that RapidGO creates, they're always unposted. And so that if we go into this inventory adjustment, we select the one that's outstanding here, we can see exactly the things that we entered in RapidGO. And again, it is currently unposted. You could simply click post, and then that would obviously post the inventory adjustment. You can also, if you entered a number of different inventory adjustments, you could choose to preview all of them that are entered. You can see I actually have 2 different ones that are available right now. The one that I entered and this one I entered before we came in. And then if we wanted to post all of those together, rather than having to post one at a time, we can just go to this inventory adjustments post. And it did it for us. In the journal, we can see that we made those the adjustments to those 2 different items. Let's look at one other really popular feature that we have in RapidGO, and that is line busting. For those of you who are not familiar, line busting is what happens when you have a long line in front of the point of sale and a member of your staff goes to someone that's not yet up to the point of sale and they scan everything in their basket, hold that ticket, and then all that has to happen at point of sale is tender the ticket. And so it really helps you to move through those lines a lot faster during your busy season. And it couldn't be easier to use than what we've made it. So I'm clicking on line busting now. And then I can, the first thing that it says is which station do you want these tickets to end up in? And so let's select the station number 1. And now I can enter if I want to, I don't have to, but if I want to, I can enter just something so that the cashier, when they get to POS, can know which ticket to pull up. And so maybe I want to say that this is Sally's ticket. And now all I need to do is scan all the items in Sally's basket. You can see at the bottom, it shows us what the total number of item is and total cost. Now, no price rules have been applied in coming up with this. This just used price 1, but when it sends up to Counterpoint, it's going to then run price rules so that if you have special discounts or that those will apply. And as we said, at this point now, the cashier can pull up that ticket and process it. Just tender it, and the customer is on their way. So we've now looked at 3 different functions that are part of RapidGO. The other functions within RapidGO work almost identically. So what I hope you see is that RapidGO is really easy to use and that it's really easy to train. And having all this capability available on a handheld will help you run your store more efficiently. We really hope that you're excited about RapidGO, and we thank you for listening. Bye.